So yesterday, when we were preparing the water for the Moto, we created this 2 cups here of water that we've had sitting on the counter overnight, and we put half a cup in the refrigerator so that it'll cool. So that's all ready at this point. We took the yeast out of the refrigerator as well last night, and so it's been sitting on the counter, you know, kind of warming up very slowly over the evening. And then we just a moment ago we smacked it. In this case, if you're not familiar with the Y yeast kind of things, there's a little inside this envelope of yeast. There's a small packet, and that's some yeast nutrients in that packet. And so you, about an hour or so before you're ready to use it, you want to break that inner packet so that it releases the nutrients to the yeast around it, and then it'll start growing. And that just kind of gets the yeast ready a little bit sooner, you know, than it would. It's not crucial, but it's kind of a nice feature of the Y yeast. This morning I prepared a kind of a fluid using the iodophore so that I can sanitize some of the things I'm working with. The iodophore is very nice because you don't have to rinse it or anything like that. It just kind of works, and it's fairly fast. So, and I've got my measuring cup, got my rice, got my container that I'm going to put my Moto in. We'll have to sanitize this once we're ready to use it. I've got a spoon here for stirring stuff, my thermometer, and looks like that should be good. So here with the water, we're shooting for the low 70 degrees. It's been sitting on the counter. Here it comes out 68. It's a little low, but what do you do? It should be okay. So now the next step is to measure out some rice, and I haven't opened this pack yet, so I'm going to do that now. And then we'll get ourselves 1.6 cups of rice. Okay. So a little tricky here, but you know, oops, I lost a kernel. Now this rice that I have here is the 60% milled rice. About there. That looks good. So there's our 1.6 cups of rice measured out. Now we need to wash this rice. So I've got this nice little fish bowl, and I'll put the rice in there. We can do this with just a regular tap water here. The goal, actually we want that on cold underneath, but the goal of this is to get the all of the flour off the rice, the powder from the milling and anything else that might have you know, gotten on it. Sometimes this is milled to 60%, so this isn't going to be one of those, but some of the commercial, the table rices that you get might have some other added nutrients or iron, things like that, to make them more nutritious for eating. And you know, we don't want any of that on the rice for making sake, so we need to kind of rinse it off really good. We want to try, as we're kind of emptying the water out, we don't want to spill out a lot of rice, but it's inevitable that you will spill some doing this, so just be a little on the careful side and it should be just fine. Okay. Now we'll let that sit for about an hour, steep it, and then we'll come back and start the steaming process. Well, actually, before we steam it, we'll let it drain. We'll let it drain for about an hour. So it'll steep for an hour, drain for an hour, and then we'll steam it for an hour. So hour, and kind of move through it that way. It's a slow process, but it gives you time to kind of think about what you're doing. And when you're brewing beer, there's a saying, you know, relax, have a home brew. So a similar thing here. You might have a little bit of sake out on the side to drink with this.